Hello friends, this is our fifth lecture on new criticism, and here what we have seen, what are the main points, what are the main tenets. Tenets means what they hold, or when you say, or you can say what are the main ideas that they propose. First, as you can see, since we have done quite a lot of work on this, I don't think I need to go back and repeat all these things. No, not necessary, I think, yes. So the primary concern of new criticism is with the problem of unity, the kind of whole which the literary work forms or fails to form. So first and foremost is unity of the work. Unity of the work. Whether a literary work, a work of art, achieves this unity or it fails to achieve. Understand? The form fails to achieve that form. The relation of the various parts to each other in building up this whole. Sometimes what happens in abrupt openings you will find. Say, for example, Hopkins' poem, The Winged Horse, very famous one. Maybe considered as the first modern poem. How does it begin? It begins with the flight of a kestrel. Morning's minion. I caught this morning's minion. And what is the last part, you see? But he is working through to arrive at the last part. And then the unity. The turbulent air is brought under the control of the kestrel, just like that my turbulent mind I have brought under my control, and the motiveless suffering of Jesus I am also going to undertake. So it's perfect unity. The form and matter, that is the sujet and the fabula. Fabula means the story, that is the content. Sujet, that is the formalist. This is the word used, Russian formalist. Sujet. The spelling is very, very interesting. S-Y-U-Z-H-E-T. S-Y-U-Z-H-E-T. Sujet. The other is fabula. And fabula. Fabula is the story or the content, and sujet is the way you, the how of it. How you create the sequence of events or the sequence of images and so on. So that is sujet. Understand? Yeah. So there it is. Now here is the relation between the sujet and the fabula. To achieve a unity, form is meaning. That's what they say. Again, you can see a valediction, forbidding morning, Donne's poem. It begins with death of virtuous people. Isn't it? Then how does it end? From an imagery from mathematics, compass image. But stanza after stanza, he is working on that to achieve that unity. Sailing to Byzantium, that very often I quote these poems because they are very important poems also, and they are very good examples. So the sailing to Byzantium says, the young in one of their arms. And then what happens? What is the end? I shall never take bodily form, but such a form as the Grecian goldsmiths make. So that is a journey to eternity. In the beginning we will not, there's not even a smell of that, that it is going to end like this. The conclusion is going to be eternity. Tamasoma Jyotirgimaya. Asattoma Satgame. That is the theme, the real, actual theme is, I have given 3 lectures I think on sailing to Byzantium. Understand? Yeah, that is the theme. From darkness to light, etc. Everybody knows that, so I don't want to repeat that. So that is the first and the foremost tenet or what they according to them, they are what they uphold. The form and matter. How does the poet manage to achieve unity? Whether the poet has achieved unity or not. That's first one. Because it's all about form. Already I told you, a lot of things you can see same points raised by the formalists also. The school of Jacobson, you can see. Almost the same points, but of course they developed in two different places, not knowing that they are developing these theories. Understand? So that's point one. Second is, form and content cannot be separated. So if you have to, that follows from the first. Form and content cannot be separated. How can you do that? Because form and content required for the unity. So you cannot separate. For example, you can see now the sprung rhythm used by Hopkins in his poem. If sprung rhythm is not used, then the poem would never achieve unity. Listen, sprung rhythm. A variation of sprung rhythm is a variation of the leaping rhythm. That's iambic. Leaping rhythm is like tat. The sprung rhythm is you have got tat. That is all. See, I have given 3 lectures on two or three lectures on Hopkins. I humbly request you to go through that because already I have explained these things very well. So just one click, you will get this now, and then you can go through instead of wasting your time and my time now again. Alright. The third is form is meaning. So the structure, the form is meaning according to form is meaning. The new critics say that form is meaning. No form, no meaning. Very easy, you can get an example of Shakespeare's sonnets. 3 quatrains and a couplet, if not, there's no meaning. Suppose there are only 3 quatrains and the couplet is missing. Then how can you wind up? There cannot be a conclusion. So it's clear, very clear. That I think the best example is that. Understand? And the fourth point is, literature, according to these people, is general and universal. Literature tells you about something that is general and universal. Wordsworth in his lyrical introduction to, in his lyrical ballads, Professed to lyrical ballads. I have given again, this is not an advertisement, I have given already 13 or 14 lectures on Professed to lyrical ballads by Wordsworth. And that it is very clearly, I think one lecture is devoted fully on this universal aspect of the work of art, universal. So, literature is ultimately general and universal. And literature is not presented or foregrounded through abstractions, but through concrete and particular incidents. Understand? General and universal, but not by abstractions. It is not presented by abstraction, but concrete and particular. For example, the leech gatherer, you can see. It's concrete and particular, leech gatherer. And the providence and so on. There is God's providence. His trust in God's providence. Like this, if you take any of these poems, you will find this. Understand? So, it is reached through particular and also concrete. Concrete incidents and concrete. Concrete means what? Opposite of abstract. See that? And then next, fourth is, form is meaning then, so fourth is, deals with the general and achieves through concrete. concrete and not abstract. Concrete and particular, not abstract. Listen. And the fifth one is, literature is ultimately metaphorical and symbolic. Metaphorical. Fifth, metaphorical and symbolic. Why? Because language is metaphorical and symbolic. Sorry, the cap has come. Don't worry, I will manage without this. I don't want to disturb you people. See. So it is that is the thing. Understand? So it is because what are we doing? Ultimately it is metaphorical. Or you do you mind my picking up the cap? Sorry, excuse me. Yes. So there you are. And otherwise this will dry up. This pen. Alright. So here, because language is metaphorical. Understand? And symbolic. And what we do is conceivable, not real. The subject matter, say according to Aristotle, art is what we can conceive, conceivable, not real, need not be real at all. And Bakhtin's, Mikhail Bakhtin's idea of language, no language is neutral. So what will happen is heteroglossia, different voices, polyphony, and so on, those concepts. Therefore what happens, meaning shifts. Always we are on a slippery ground. Understand? But at the same time, all what you have to remember is that language is metaphorical and symbolic. So what have you to do? You have to find out the meaning in a semantically slippery, standing on a semantically slippery platform. It simply means meaning changes. There will be always, you take it for granted that there will be always meaning change because language is symbolic and metaphorical. See, and not language is neutral means all languages are in one or the other way influenced by situations. See, and therefore language will change its meaning. And at the same day you will have to find out the new critics are looking for this unity and form of the work of art. That's the point. I think it is clear to you. And the sixth point is, literature is not surrogate. It is not surrogate for religion. It is not a surrogate for religion. Means literature is not aimed only at moral principles and moral truths. The ultimate aim of literature is pleasure. Aristotle says the same. Aristotle says the end of fine art is pleasure. Hers dulce et utile dulce. Dulce, delicious, pleasure. Right? And then Alan Tate, a quotation from Alan Tate, he says, specific moral problems are the subject matter of literature. Could be. Specific moral problems are the subject matter of literature. But the purpose of literature is not moral problems. You may find moral problems in literary work. But the purpose of literary work is not to tell us or explain to us or find solutions to moral problems. That is the point. For example, in tragedies of Shakespeare, you have moral problems. But it is not for that purpose that Shakespeare has written this, it is for our pleasure. So that is the point that you have. And the last point is, the tenet, so to say, is the principles of literature, criticism, can fix the area of criticism, but not the method. Understand? The principles of criticism fix the area of criticism, not the method. Method means biographical criticism or historical criticism or new historicism, which we are going to see in a few days' time, or historic cultural studies, criticism based on culture. That is not the business of the critic. The critic can say this is the area of criticism, but how you should proceed, that depends on that is not the business of the critic. That is not the business of the principles of criticism. Understand that? A critic, the principles of criticism can define the area of criticism, not the method. Means principles of criticism can say what, not how. How it can be, as we have already seen, biographical criticism is that, or period-wise historical criticism is that. So that depends on the person who does this work. That is the critic. That is the new critic. The new critic, he says that it is close reading and form and matter, unity, and then literature is symbolic. Literature is not a substitute for surrogate, means substitute for morality and moral principles. So these are the things that the main tenets of new critics and new criticism. Understand that? Ultimately, I think that this point may not be clear to you. Metaphorical and symbolic. Because it is metaphorical and symbolic, it creates tensions, paradox, use of paradox, use of different figures of speech, arrangements like alliteration, rhyme, vowel harmony. You understand that? That is the point. And then, of course, as I have already told you, the slippery semantic platform. So what the critic has to do, he has to bring this under his control and see what the poem means. Listen to that. What the poem? What is the spirit of the poem? I think now you understand. So once again, just go through this. That is, there are altogether 7 tenets or principles, you can say, or what they propound. But what are their suggestions, also strong suggestions. One is primary concern of art is how the work of art does achieve unity. Okay, form and unity. Second is form and content cannot be separated. That follows from the first. Third is we have seen form and meaning. They are one because Shakespeare's songs we have seen. Fourth is we have seen this general and universal. Understand? And then you find the fifth is that literature is not a surrogate for religion, and the sixth is you have it is universal. See, and then finally, principles of criticism should do. What should the principles of criticism do? Should fix the area, not the method. Hope you have been following and enjoying, and therefore, for the time being, we will wind up. Bye. See you again. Probably the next class we will come to the. We may conclude this area and proceed to something connected with this area. Till then, bye. Have a nice time. Enjoy your life.